The sun peeked over the horizon as Robert and Kate, boarding their flight from the North Carolina airport to Istanbul. They were very excited to visit Turkey for the first time, especially Istanbul, a city they had heard a lot about, a city full of history. They have planned for 2 years for this summer trip. They have read and heard some good things about this iconic city. Day 1. The heart of the old city. After settling into a quaint hotel in Sultanahmet, they stepped out and into the embrace of Istanbul's ancient charm. Their first stop, the majestic blue mosque, Sultan Ahmed Mosque. The sunlight reflected off the 6 minarets and shimmering blue tiles that line the mosque's interior, creating a magical, almost reverent glow.
Kate stood in awe. "It's even more beautiful than the pictures," Robert whispered. "Feels like we've stepped into a storybook."
Next door stood the Hagia Sophia, now a mosque again, its massive dome towering overhead. As they wandered through the marble floors and ancient mosaics, Robert couldn't stop admiring the intricate details of Christian and Islamic art blending under one roof. After a quick lunch of freshly baked simit, Turkish sesame bread, and tea from a street vendor, they headed to Basilica Cistern, descending into the cool, echoing depths of the underground water reservoir. The mood turned mysterious as they walked across wooden platforms, watching carp swim beneath glowing red lights and pausing at the famous Medusa heads. Back above ground, they wandered through Gülhane Park, where children laughed, cats lazed under trees, and couples strolled. They rested on a bench surrounded by roses in full bloom, already falling in love with the city. Day 2. Palaces and bazaars. The next day began with a hearty Turkish breakfast. Olives, cheeses, honey, and eggs, with sukuk, spicy sausage. On a rooftop terrace overlooking the Bosporus, seagulls glided overhead as ferries crossed from Europe to Asia. Their first stop was the Topkapi Palace, the opulent home of Ottoman sultans. Kate admired the delicate hand-painted tiles, glittering jewels in the treasury, and secret stories whispered by the palace walls.
Robert, eyes wide at the historical weapons collection, chuckled, "This is like something out of a movie."
In the afternoon, they walked to the Grand Bazaar, one of the largest covered markets in the world. Lanterns, spices, carpets, ceramics, and jewelry dazzled their eyes at every turn. Shopkeepers called out warmly, offering apple tea and friendly bargaining. A funny moment arose when Robert accidentally sat on a tiny stool at a rug seller's booth, only for it to collapse under him.
The whole store erupted in laughter, including Robert himself. "You broke the Sultan's throne," Kate joked.
They bought a small hand-painted bowl as a souvenir before continuing to the spice bazaar, where Kate bought saffron and dried figs, and Robert couldn't resist Turkish delight in every flavor. Day 3. Across continents and up the tower. On day 3, they boarded a public ferry across the Bosporus to Kadıköy, on the Asian side of Istanbul. The boat ride was breezy and scenic, with tea vendors balancing trays and cityscapes stretching behind them. Robert pointed out domes and minarets as they drifted away from the European shore. Kadıköy felt younger, quirkier, full of art-lined alleyways, cafes, and vibrant street murals. They wandered through Moda Park, watching young people play guitar and dance, and enjoyed kofta sandwiches from a food truck. Kate grinned. "This side feels like Istanbul's bohemian soul." That evening, they returned to the European side to climb the Galata Tower. As the sun began to set, they looked out over the entire city, golden rooftops, twinkling lights, the serpentine Bosporus cutting through it all.
"This view," Robert said, pulling Kate close, "is worth every step."
Day 4. Art, food, the hidden corners. They started the day at Istanbul Modern, a museum of contemporary Turkish art. Robert, not usually an art guy, found himself drawn to the exhibits showing the fusion of tradition and innovation. Next, they strolled down Istiklal Street, a bustling pedestrian avenue filled with music, bookstores, and smells of roasted chestnuts. They rode the nostalgic red tram, waving at street performers and dodging bubble-blowing kids. Lunch was at Çiçek Pasajı, an elegant, historic arcade with old-world charm. Over meze and lamb kebabs, they chatted with a friendly waiter who gave them local tips. In the afternoon, they discovered Balat, a colorful neighborhood known for its rainbow houses and antique shops.
Kate took countless photos and Robert befriended a cat that refused to leave his lap outside a tiny coffee shop. "We should adopt him and name him Sultan," he said.
That evening, they attended a whirling dervish ceremonia, deeply spiritual performance of music and movement. The atmosphere was serene, otherworldly.
Kate whispered, "This is the kind of magic I hoped for."
Day 5. Islands and farewell. On their final day, they caught a ferry to Büyükada, the largest of the Prince's Islands. With no cars allowed, the island was peaceful, just bicycles, horse-drawn carriages, and quiet pine forests. They rented bikes and rode along coastal paths, stopping to dip their toes in the sea and explore hidden beaches.
For lunch, they chose a seaside cafe with grilled sea bass and lemonade. Kate leaned back in her chair. "I never want to leave."
Their last few hours were spent walking through old Ottoman mansions and watching the sun set behind the Istanbul skyline one last time. That evening, as they packed, they looked over the souvenirs they'd collected. The bowl, the spices, the small rose-scented candle from Balat, and countless photos and memories.
Robert held Kate's hand. "This wasn't just a vacation. It was a story we'll tell forever."
She smiled. "And the best part? We lived it together."